To establish a company and to do it well, the first thing you need to do is to make a good product.
What's up? I'm gonna do a take 2 review because I got in too far into the weeds. I feel like the first time trying to review this movie, and I just want to make sure that it's as good a quality of a review as I usually put out, just kind of focused with some light threads of discussion or whatever, but not anything too crazy or far into the weeds. So the movie I'm reviewing is Jojo Rabbit. I saw it yesterday in theaters, and it was very strange, a very strange, weird movie that I really liked. It was directed by Taika Waititi and also starred in by him, I believe. Well, I mean, I know it was starred in by him, but I believe he also directed it, if I'm not mistaken. Now, some of you will know him as the director of, he directed it as well, and did the screenplay as well. So I guess he just was a busy man. He also was the director of Thor Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite movies in the Marvel universe, so far at least. And I think he's doing the new Thor, Love and Thunder, or whatever it's called. So he's kind of one of the go-to guys over there now. So it was cool to see something else by him. I really wanted to kind of see more of what he could do as a director besides, Marvel things that are technically already written out for him for the most part. I mean, obviously he can write the screenplays and stuff, but they're usually based on a story that's already been written, 10 or more years ago. So in some cases 50. Anyway, so as for the movie, I really liked it. It was very quirky, strange, it's what I expected, but also not what I expected. The plot takes a far off turn from where it looks from the trailer, which I think is good. I think that if the trailer really showed you everything about the movie, it'd probably be a little disappointing, because I think that the movie itself has a lot of the quirky elements that are shown in the trailer, but at the same time, there's a deeper story there than the trailer alludes to. It's kind of deep already looking on the surface, but it just, like, the movie from the trailer looks very quirky and stupid and weird. But there's an actual story beyond just this boy who joined the youth Nazi party, whatever thing. Because the trailer makes it out to be like there's this boy who's joining the Nazi party in, I guess, 40s Germany, who has, like, an imaginary friend of Adolf Hitler who's just insane, like batshit crazy, I would say. The real one is too, but this version of him is just, I don't know, it's nuts. You'd have to watch it to really understand what I mean. He's just really goofy and over the top and insanely, quirky. Like, the movie has a very quirky tone, I guess, overall, for, like, the way characters interact. But at the same time, it's
Today, Junior?
It's juxtaposed or whatever to this very serious, obviously, event with World War II and Nazi Germany, and then basically on this witch hunt for Jewish people and survivors and all that stuff. It was kind of, I don't know. It was like, I feel like it could have done better, but at the same time, I really liked it for what it was. There were a lot of really funny moments and interesting ways to do jokes. I don't know if I've really ever seen this in a movie, but there's a point where a character draws something and then you see it, like, come to life essentially later on in the movie, and I just don't know if I've really ever seen anything quite like that as a joke, because in comedy usually it seems like stuff like that where it's minor is kind of a throwaway thing, like it's to be forgotten, laugh at it in the moment, but then just set it aside and don't really think about it. Other than stand-up comedy, where it all kind of ties up with a nice pretty bow at the end, most of the time. But so it was cool to see a little throwaway joke kind of come back in a big way towards the end of the movie. So that was neat. The tone of the movie is very strange as far as like, not tone like emotional, but like the appearance and color, I guess the color correction and color scheme and palette of the movie. It's because you're watching this like happy-go-lucky, quirky, offbeat kind of movie set in a very gritty looking kind of like, well, not very, very gritty, but mostly gritty looking 40s Germany, where there's a lot of like tan, gray, brown, some red, some like kind of like a sandy yellow, blonde for people, obviously, and like, you know, human tones, but then also just like very bland color design. But the characters are all larger than life, so you're just like in this boring looking world where all these characters are just absolutely insane, and it's kind of funny and different. Like I can't really think of many movies that feel that way. Just like awkwardly structured to where it just doesn't feel right, but it works. There's a lot of funny moments, as I said, but there is some emotional depth there too. There were moments where a lot of people in the audience that I could see or hear were like basically crying or upset for certain things that happened, which I did too. I teared up at one point. But there were also like, there's lots of laughs, lots of sad times, lots of like actually kind of not stressful, that's really not the word I'm looking for, I guess, but suspenseful moments, I guess, because it is set during a war, so there's like war battle kind of scenes in a way, even though it's like a comedy overall. So that was interesting. I feel like it could have been better, but at the same time I really liked it. Sorry, I'm just noticing some reviews that really for some reason didn't like it, which, you know, whatever, that's fine. I gave it, I think, an 8 out of 10 in my notes, so I liked it. I could see why some people might be a little off-put or hesitant to watch it, because it is technically still portraying, you know, Nazis and stuff like that, even though it is a satire, which is why I think it's okay, because it's like making fun of, or not making fun of, like making light of, I don't know, that's gonna sound bad, but what I mean is like it's lightening it up so that you can watch it and not feel just absolutely horrified all the time. Although there are definitely some horrific things, because it's, again, Nazi Germany. So yeah, I would recommend it to anybody who can stomach a bit of history while it also being just making fun of or parodying, satirically taking on the topic of this era, which is a sketchy era for a lot of people anyway. For some people it's fascinating, so you all might love it or hate it because it's not serious enough. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool, unique, different, and definitely worth the watch if you can stomach it, I guess, or can find it appealing while putting away any like easily offended sides to you or whatever. Like if you can go into the movies and kind of just shut away some parts of your basic nature, I guess, then you could totally enjoy it. So anyway, my point being, anybody that might be hesitant to go see it should probably at least consider it, just because it is very weird and quirky and odd. And it's got a lot of emotional depth. Like, it's sad, happy, funny, just very interesting. So I guess that's my review. I will give Jojo Rabbit an 8 out of 10. Now, to kind of explain something weird that happened at the movies, where I feel like I screwed up and missed my opportunity to meet somebody cool or interesting or funny, at least. Basically one of those times where it feels like the universe was giving me a sign, and all my hang-ups and anxiety kind of ruined it for me. So when I was in the movie, you know, I tend to get there a little early just so I can check my phone real quick before trailers and stuff start coming on. Maybe download the poster so I can kind of get some ideas together for how I want to edit these title cards, because those of you who have watched me before know I like editing myself into movie posters, and trying to recreate kind of a similar style, at least just for fun and for a laugh. So I was doing that or whatever, and people started filing in, and these two girls come in, and one of them, like, I guess because like I buy my seats in advance. I usually look them up if it's the first one of the day, the night before, just so I can buy the ticket, be done with it, and just go in and be ready to go. So, I go in, I get my seat or whatever, but these girls come in later on, and I guess they were trying to sit kind of where I sit, which is always usually like the first row after the handicap section. So you got this nice little cutoff gap thing, but you're slightly raised up, and but the first row after that, and then I usually go like dead center just so I can get the best possible view as far as I can tell. Every theater I've been in. I guess that's their normal spot or whatever too. So they started to walk up, and then like she said hey or hi or something, and I was like, oh, hi. Like kind of thrown off because I don't really talk to people I don't have to in public. Just because, I don't know, I get nervous around new people, I guess. I've got some severe social anxiety and some real, hang-ups and problems and issues, so I just kind of expect people to think the worst of me, I guess. And so therefore I don't really talk to new people very often. So somebody just randomly saying hi, with outside of, I guess I should say, a business transaction or anything like that, is kind of a big deal to me. Like that was kind of weird, but that's not why this was a crazy moment in my opinion. We'll get to that. So anyway, they take their seats a couple seats down, and the the trailers kind of start up, and they start kind of rummaging around because clearly they snuck in food or whatever. I'm not going to judge that. That's just kind of whatever to me. But as the movie starts, they start pulling out food and like taking bites and stuff. And like, I can hear it. So it's like, I can kind of tell without even looking what's going on. They're eating apples, which I thought that's a really strange choice to have at the movies, which I guess you'd have to sneak that in if you're wanting to eat that. But it just seems like, I don't know. I don't think of apples as movie food. But the point I'm trying to make is I can hear like the detail of it, where it's like, their teeth sinking into like the skin of it and pulling the apple away or whatever. So there's that crispy crunch sound or whatever. So they're over there eating their apple, taking a few bites, and then like one of the girls takes a bite, the one next to me, well, like 2 seats down or whatever. And literally like less than a second later, the screen on the movie, whatever the scene, the shot, like transitions to this head captain Nazi guy or whatever that's leading the kids at this camp thing. Not like a camp, but like a train, you know what I mean? Not the camp, but like a training camp or whatever. And he's just eating an apple like at the exact same time. Takes this huge bite of this apple, and like the three of us just bust out laughing because it was just so weirdly perfectly timed, unexpectedly. Now, for all I know, they might have seen the movie and known it was coming or something, but it was hilarious to me. Like, it's just like, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me in a movie. Like, having somebody do something that the character on screen basically immediately does the exact same thing. Obviously, it's coincidence, but it's just hilariously random and perfect all in the moment. So we're all three kind of laughing for like a split second to ourselves, and then we all shut up. And so later on, the girl is like going to take a drink from some soda she brought in. That's a bottle. So she unscrews the cap or whatever, and it just goes like flying a couple seats over to my spot underneath the seat or whatever, and she like starts to get up to go for it, but then sees where it landed and just stops. And like, I noticed this, so I start to kind of hit the recliner button so I can go back up to get it for her. And she's just like, no, that's fine, you don't have to do that or whatever. And I was just like thinking, well, I mean, obviously I don't, because it's just a piece of crap. Like, it's just a cap from a bottle. But I'm just doing it just because, like, that just seems like the right thing or whatever. So I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I was just kind of blew it off because it was just an awkward moment. So I just went back to watching the movie or whatever. But like, I noticed in the side, like in my peripheral vision, that she was like kept like glancing over at me, and it was just really weird. Like, it's just a weird experience, but like in the best possible way, I think. And after the movie, I kind of felt like I should have gone up and, you know, said, hey,
what up?
So how about them apples or what? I don't know. Something stupid just to kind of reference what had happened, just to see if I could get a laugh out of them or something. I don't know. It just seemed like it could have been a chance to have a new friend or a possible, you know, even just a nice little funny moment or something. But for whatever reason, because of my hang-ups and stuff, I blew it off and just kind of ignored it.
You blew it!
Even though that seems like the universe just giving me this giant, like, you know, sign, which is something I've always hoped for, and then for some reason in the moment I just can't do anything about it. So anyway, I thought I would share. It was very funny and very weird, on top of the already funny and weird movie. And I don't know. I don't think I'll ever have another experience like that again in the movies, probably, but who knows? Maybe one day I will, and I'll hopefully, you know, take the chance to get to know somebody over it, because it could be something special. But anyway, thought I would share my story of the day and of that movie. But for now, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.